never know. You never knew.
As you know, Posty was just on Rogan. Very entertaining episode, all 4 hours of it. Yeah. They touch on, a couple things they touch on. One is why Post moved to Utah and the benefits of it from a living standpoint and creatively. And Rogan's actually moving to Texas. Yeah. He's taking the show on the road. And he's just, I mean, people can come to him because he's the biggest podcast there is. But they talk about how Utah, like creatively, I mean, you were creating music out there. Like, could you tell a difference while you were creating out there?
I mean, think about what we've been saying the whole time. We're going to Hawaii and making all the songs, and then we already went to Nashville. Like some of the first, one of the trip to Hawaii and then Nashville. Some of the songs that like that's where like Post, where you know he's really started to get excited about the music, and those were big breakthroughs for me musically. But I noticed that very quickly that. Being in different environments is very conducive to like opening up, for lack of a better word, just like opening up your mind and your creativity. It feels like there's like a new, you know, there's new ideas coming from new spaces, and that's just how it feels. And
we want to keep it fresh.
We made some great shit in Utah. I think we might have made a classic out there. So
can you put your finger on what it is specifically about Utah?
No, I mean, Utah, like, when we talk about, like, communing with nature, like, it's just, like, it's totally different than LA and, like, being in a city and stuff. It just is. Like, when you wake up and you're on a fucking mountaintop and then, like, you don't have to be rich and, like, live in a mountaintop. Like, you could literally just, like, you know, when you wake up in Utah, you can go for a fucking 10-minute ride and you're at a hike, you know, or you're at a lake, whatever. Like, yeah, like we went to a lake one day, you know, we talked about it, but like those things, there's just something about the communion with nature that sparks creativity. I mean, any of the teachers, any of the Buddhist stuff, the Taoist stuff that I'm into, they stress that as an actual like pillar of something you should do to not only like stay connected, it helps you stay connected in the now, but also connected to a higher power, which like creativity, if you think about what creativity is, we don't know what it is. Like you can take ownership of your ideas and you could say, oh, I got all the ideas, like I'm blessed or I'm really creative, but we don't know where those ideas are coming from. Like they
nowhere.
You know, we've heard multiple people talk about it, but I don't know where they come from. And once I heard someone articulate that, and I was just like, oh wow. Like, yeah, you're right. Like all I can do is try to set myself up to be open to receiving new ideas.
You ready?